Hello, good day to all of you, and welcome once again to our class in Basic School Management and Administration. I hope that you are fine and in great shape, and of course, always safe from COVID-19. Just be reminded always to observe the protocol set by the IATF. Okay, so last meeting we were talking about motivation. Do you still remember what motivation is? Anyone? Well, briefly, when we talk of motivation, it refers to something that will inspire us to do what we are supposed to do. No? Kung sa Bisaya pa, makapagana nato pagbuhat sa mga butang nga dapat natong buhaton. Okay? So that's what we mean by motivation. So in an organization, it is important that the members of this organization are well motivated so that the organization will be able to achieve what it wants to achieve, its goals and objectives. So take note that there are two classifications of motivations. We have the extrinsic motivation and also the intrinsic motivation. So briefly, when we speak about extrinsic motivation, these are things that would inspire us, motivate us from the external, from the outside of the person. So for example, recognition, reward, those things around us that will make us happy and satisfied. These are what we call as extrinsic motivators. On the other hand, when we speak of intrinsic motivation, this is a feeling that comes from within, a feeling of self-fulfillment, a feeling of self-satisfaction, that it does not require any external motivation. Whether or not there are external motivators, but the person who is motivated intrinsically will just do things because they feel happy in doing these things. Now, today, we will be talking about another topic, but still connected to the previous topic that we had, motivation. This time, we will be talking about Abraham Maslow. Have you heard about that name? Are you familiar with Abraham Maslow? Well, Abraham Maslow is an American psychologist. He was from New York and he was born sometime in April 1908 and he died around 1970. So what makes Abraham Maslow popular or known is because of his theory on the hierarchy of needs. Have you heard about the hierarchy of needs? Well, the hierarchy of needs is identified with Abraham Maslow. So in this particular lesson, you are expected to learn about the hierarchy of needs, how this will influence ourselves, and in the way that we will motivate a person or how we will be motivated. It would be very beautiful if we will be able to understand fully the hierarchy of needs and then relate this to our personal experiences. Okay, so what is Maslow's hierarchy of needs? What is the basic principle that would explain the hierarchy of needs? According to Abraham Maslow, a human being has all these needs that should be satisfied. The satisfaction of these needs will motivate a person to satisfy these needs. Meaning to say, the satisfaction of these needs will motivate the person. So, when we know and when we feel that a specific need will be satisfied, there will be satisfaction of a particular need, so we will be motivated to do something. Okay? So, needs. What are our needs? There are various needs. It depends on an individual, but we all have needs. And the satisfaction of these needs, according to Abraham Maslow, is a form of motivation. Got it? Now, in Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are 5 levels. No, it looks like a pyramid, and there are 5 levels in this hierarchy. At the bottom, we have the physiological needs. Then, higher to it, we have the safety needs. Next, higher is love and belonging. Higher to it is self-esteem. And the highest is self-actualization. So, in these 5 levels of needs in the hierarchy, Abraham emphasizes that the higher needs will not be felt, or these needs will not be given priority by the individual as long as the lower needs have not yet been satisfied or fulfilled. Okay, so I repeat, the higher needs cannot be felt or cannot be given priority by an individual if the lower need has not yet been satisfied. So for example, if your physiological needs are still there, present, then you cannot think about, you cannot entertain about self-esteem or belonging. It is only when the physiological needs are satisfied that you will now start to desire for the higher needs like self-esteem or belongingness. Okay, so that's how the principle of the hierarchy of needs of Maslow works. Okay, so let us start. As mentioned earlier, at the bottom of the pyramid is the physiological needs. So this is the most basic. What do we mean by physiological needs? Physiological needs refer to our bodily needs, those things that will satisfy the needs of our body, like food, clothing, and shelter. So these are the most basic needs of a human person. We need food to eat. Whenever we feel hungry, then we have to eat. If we are thirsty, then we have to drink. If we are feeling cold, then we need to have clothing. We need a house. We need shelter. No matter how small or big it is, so long as it is something where we can stay. So these are the most basic needs of a human person, the physiological needs. We need to be healthy. We need to be alive. To satisfy or finding satisfaction of these needs will motivate the person to look for food, to do something so that his needs will be satisfied. We will do everything in order that there will be food on the table. We will do our best so that we can find water to quench our thirst. We will try to look for clothes, any kind of clothes, so long as this can help us feel warm. If a person doesn't have a house, so he will do everything. He will make use of anything just to have a shelter. Kakita mo niyan ng mga tao sa syudad, magtabil-tabil sa mga sako, karton, lata, as long as they can have a house, that would be fine. So, while an individual is looking for the satisfaction of these physiological needs, he doesn't feel the need about safety or self-esteem or self-fulfillment. All these needs are senseless. All these needs are meaningless because what is important at the moment is to satisfy the physiological needs. So once these needs, the physiological needs are satisfied, busog na ang tao, doon na nazay sinina o sapot, doon na nazay bay, nakainom na siya tubig. So all the physiological needs have been satisfied. The next need that will arise would be the safety need. In the safety need, we long for safety. Ang atong panginahanglan nga maladyo ta sa kadaot, maladyo ta sa mga disgrasya. Mauna nga when we needed for a house and we already have the house, what we need is that this house should have windows and doors that will be closed during nighttime so that while we are sleeping, nobody can enter your house uninvited or there might be intruders. We need to be safe. No, we need that the food that we eat is clean and free from any poison. We need that the water that we drink is clean and potable. That would now be the next need that man will feel after satisfying the physiological needs, the need for safety. And so man will be motivated to do everything and anything to make himself safe. No, safety. So, after man's need for safety has been satisfied, according to Abraham Maslow, another need would appear. And this time, it will be the need for belonging and the need for love. Because man has already satisfied his physiological needs. He has clothing, he has food, he has shelter, and also he already feels secure and safe. The next need that will arise is belonging, the need for belonging, and the need to be loved. That is why man will now start to get out from his shell. Mubidya na siya sa ijang bay ug makigsandurot sa ubang mga tao diha sa ilang komunidad because that is now the need of the person. He has to associate with other people in the community. He wants to have a circle of friends. He wants to have friends. He wants to belong. Before, when pandemic has not yet arrived, normally in the school, you will find your own barkada. You have your circle of friends because normally that is a need of every individual, the need to belong. But take note, as I emphasize the principle of Abraham Maslow, that need to belong cannot be felt if the lower needs have not yet been satisfied. Dili ka makahuna-huna sa imong mga amigo, or you cannot think about the need of friendship kung nagkutoy ang imong tijan, kung nagsakit ang imong lawas, gilantan ka, or you are not feeling well. You cannot feel the need of the higher level unless the lower levels or the need at the lower level have been satisfied. So, once you already have a circle of friends and you feel that you are being loved by these people, no, there is acceptance in ka sa grupo, you are happy with their companionship, you enjoy the company, you feel loved, and you also love them. The next need that will arise and will again motivate the person to do things is the need for esteem or self-esteem. What do you mean by esteem? Of course, I assume that you have heard about self-esteem. Self-esteem is the feeling of being good. You feel good. So, if you feel good, you are proud of yourself. You are happy of yourself, and you are not ashamed of facing other people because you feel good about yourself. And that is self-esteem. You have high regards of yourself. So, when you have this need for self-esteem, you will do your best to prove your worth. No? You will cultivate your talent. Talent in singing, talent in dancing, and whatever you have, to show to other people that you have something to offer, that you have something that will make you different, and if not, making you superior over the other members of your organization. And with that, you will develop self-esteem. Self-esteem can also be understood as self-confidence, positive concept of yourself. You feel good. You think that you are good. You think that you are talented. You think that you are a good leader. That is self-esteem. So a person who doesn't have self-esteem will feel low about himself. He will be ashamed in associating with other people, in facing people. Okay? So that will now be the need of an individual now for self-esteem after that person has established relationship with other people, and in fact being able to be part of an organization. The feeling of belongingness, the feeling of being loved. Okay? So self-esteem. Now, once self-esteem has been satisfied, the need for self-esteem has been satisfied, meaning to say, you have already shown to other people that you are good. And in fact, other people have acknowledged, other people have recognized that you are good. No? They also have high regards on you. You are popular, you are famous in your organization. So you now have a well-established feeling of self-esteem. So once this need has been satisfied according to Abraham Maslow, then you will now reach the apex, the highest level of need, and that is self-actualization. So when we speak of self-actualization, this is the feeling of meaning, the sense, the need for a sense of meaning and purpose of your life. In order to answer the question, what is the purpose of your existence? Why are you in this world? Are you fulfilled as an individual? Have you done all the things that you are supposed to do? And that is why the need for self-fulfillment can be felt when you are already, or when an individual is already in his matured or in his old age. When he has already retired from the active life or from the active service, the next need that will be satisfied and should be answered is self-fulfillment. Am I fulfilled? Have I done all the things that I'm supposed to do so that I can say that my life has been well lived? Okay, so that is the highest level of need according to Abraham Maslow. So, do you have any question regarding the hierarchy of needs of Abraham Maslow? Is everything clear? Each of the need in the hierarchy. Okay, so just take note and always remember that the higher needs cannot be felt so long as the lower needs have not yet been satisfied. So, how are we going to relate the hierarchy of needs to motivation in the organization? What is it for you as a principal or as a classroom teacher? Motivation and the concept of hierarchy of needs of Abraham Maslow. Simply put, in order for us to motivate our pupils, or in order for us to motivate the members of the organization, as a leader, we just have to be conscious and try to understand what is the level of the needs of your members in the organization so that you can properly motivate them. So if there is something that you want to be accomplished in your school, and then your people are seemed weak and unenergetic, perhaps they are hungry, perhaps they are thirsty. That is why they do not have the motivation to work, because they still want to satisfy these needs. So as a leader, you have to provide them food, because by providing them food, they will be motivated to work on their assigned task. If there is an activity in your school and yet your teachers or your students are having second thoughts in carrying out the activity because they don't feel safe, then perhaps you have to address that need. So for example, you have a program or a party in your school and yet the faculty members don't feel safe, then perhaps you can coordinate with the office of the PNP and request for the presence of police officers in your school or in your campus. So with that, your faculty members will be feeling safe, and so they will be motivated to actively participate in the activity. So you see, it is by responding to the needs of the people that you can motivate them to work. For example, your teacher seems not to be working on her assigned task, and you know that she is isolated. Other teachers are not approaching her. So what are you going to do in order to motivate that person? You will make the teacher feel loved and accepted. You have to apply your knowledge on psychology, and you have to show your warmth and your acceptance to that person. And with that, when that particular teacher will already find satisfaction of that particular need, then she will now do the assigned task, and so on and so forth. So it is important as a leader, in an organization that you are aware the current level of need that is being experienced or felt by your members, so that these needs can be appropriately responded to, and with that, they will be motivated to work. In other words, the satisfaction of the needs of an individual will become the source of motivation. Is this clear? Are you able to connect the concept of motivation to the hierarchy of needs of Abraham Maslow? So if in case you have some questions pertaining to our topic today, please do not hesitate to raise that question in our GC. No, you can write your question in the chat box, or you can send me the question through private message or through text, so that your question can be properly answered. Okay, so thank you for watching. I hope that you will always be safe, and just pray so that we can go back to the normal life that we used to have. Thank you and keep safe.